All right, so you guys seem to enjoy my perspective of why I did something that is super popular right now, which is buy the Stanley tumbler. So I thought I would do another my perspective on something that I am doing that is overly influenced or a lot of people do, and it's highly promoted, especially on social media, which is Botox and filler. So it's no secret that I have gotten Botox and filler. The first time I got filler in my lips was a year ago almost, and then I started getting Botox a couple months ago. Usually people get these things as either a way to change the way they look or as a preventative measure for wrinkles or things like that. I, however, did not do these things for those reasons, and that's why I want to kind of share my perspective on why somebody would want to get Botox or filler, because not everyone does it just for aesthetics. I just want to disclaimer this by saying that the reasons why I chose to start getting filler and Botox are not reasons that are actually proven to work for everyone. So I don't want you to kind of go into a place and get Botox or wrinkle, I should say wrinkle relaxer, because I don't get Botox, that's a brand. I had to learn that. I don't want somebody to go in and get wrinkle relaxer or filler expecting for the same results as me, because that's not always the case. I started getting filler last year. I'm contemplating whether or not to buy another syringe and get another injection done, just because the reason why I started getting it done was because I was having major peeling and sores developing because of my picking because of dry weather in Ohio. I got it done towards the end of winter, so like now, a year ago. It was really helpful. I went into this next winter in Ohio really, really dry, really, really cold, really stressed out, really dehydrated like usual, and it was a lot better. There is a chance that using filler can add more moisture to your lips to help combat severely dehydrated lips, and that was my thing, and that's why I tried it. It has been effective for me. I can tell that I am starting to lose moisture, however, because it has been months since my last injection, because again, now my peeling is coming back. It's not as bad as it was a couple days ago, but I had a huge thing right here because it just peeled off and was bleeding everywhere. Up until I would say this last couple weeks is the first time I've actually had peeling and cracking again, and I would say that that's been really nice for the last year, not having to deal with that. Will I continue doing the lip injections? I'm not quite sure, because aesthetically, I don't feel like I need them. I never needed them. I really liked the shape of my mouth when I went to Pico MD, which is where I go for these things. I highly recommend them. They're beautiful office. All of the girls there are just so kind and generous, and I've not met the doctor there yet. I've only dealt with the nurses and their front desk people, but just it's a very welcoming environment, which is just really cool, because it's a very nerve-wracking thing to go in to say, hey, I want to do these things to my face and my body and whatever. I didn't want to change the way my mouth looked or the way that I looked. So I kind of go back and forth whether or not I want to keep doing them, because I've really enjoyed not having that cracked lip, thing and the sores and the bleeding. But at the same time, I don't know if I can afford to keep doing those, because it is a lot more expensive than Botox, and I just don't know if I can warrant that cost. It's not something that I can't go work or I can't, be around my kids. It's not that detrimental. And when I did the lip filler, it was because they had a deal going on, and I was like, you know what, I've been curious, so I just want to do it. It was for my own sense of I just need to get it out of my system. So not everybody does it to get the duck lips or the Kylie pout or whatever. Some people just literally do it because there is a issue they're having that is uncomfortable, and they want to try everything they can because things like medicated lip balm from a dermatologist and all these other things aren't working, so they just wanted to try it. Now, when it comes to the Botox, so this is the question I get the most about, because a lot of people are surprised if they're new here to hear that I do get it, and I'm very transparent about that, because I don't want people thinking that I look the way that I do without telling them honestly why I look this way. I'm 36 years old. I will be 37 in October. This is my first year doing Botox. I'm not doing it preventatively. I don't do it specifically for wrinkles. Well, I admit that, yes, it's really nice that I don't have the same wrinkling in my forehead. Yes, I will admit it is nice, but that is not why I'm doing it. So I started getting wrinkle relaxer in my forehead after years and years and years of contemplating doing it. I've suffered from severe migraines. I've suffered from my eyelids being really just heavy and having, you know, kind of ptosis going on and restricting my vision. But the migraines are like the more severe thing. And the reason why the migraines were coming on, at least according to my neurologist and my ophthalmologist neurologist, part of it, other than being seasonal, because seasons do really mess my head up, is also tension in my forehead. Something that before I started getting the injections done was happening. And this also, we realized after I got the wrinkle relaxer done, was also making my eyelids worse. Is that my front, these, I don't know what they're called here in this area, I was constantly using them. Those muscles were always on. They've been on since I was a kid. My mom used to like rub my forehead and say, stop furrowing your brow when I was younger. And I just distinctly remember that because as I got older, I was like, stop touching my forehead. You're going to make me break out. But I've always done that. And people joke like, oh, it's resting bitch face. But in reality, it was not only making my eyelids heavier. I can't do it really right now because I have Botox or I have wrinkle relaxer in my forehead. I actually use Jeuveau right now, although I might switch the next time. I usually, which I'll insert actually a picture because I have my husband took a photo of me on the phone with my neurologist. I was freaking out because I woke up and literally my face was stuck in this weird, mad, angry position. My eyebrows were just like all out of whack. These muscles here were just like stuck and spasmed. It took about 8 hours for them to relax. And we're still not sure why that happened. When I showed that photo to my neurologist ophthalmologist, he checked my eyes. Nothing was wrong with them because at first I thought maybe these migraines and all these other things were happening because of something vision, because my vision was also being all messed up. He referred me to a neurologist, but before referring me to the neurologist was like, I think it's tension. I think you're not shutting off these muscles. It's obvious that like you have no control over them. I think you should try wrinkle relaxer. I went to my neurologist. My neurologist said, you know, I think the same thing. I do think you have seasonal migraines, however, and here are all these really heavy duty drugs. And if you want to try, you know, wrinkle relaxer, I, you know, recommend that as well, but it might not work because they can't say that it's going to work, right? Instead of going to like a dermatologist or instead of going to my I chose to go to Pico MD because they'd already done my lips. And I feel like they knew my face better because I was very concerned about having that heavy forehead and having my eyelids kind of, you know, fall down because I can't afford to do that. I don't have that much room here to begin with. I'm still trying to find a way to make it more affordable or like have my HSA covered or something. Because it has been helpful to me. So since I started getting Botox, I have not had a migraine. I did have one start coming on during COVID, but I think that was more COVID related. But I used an ice pack on my head and ate popsicles and stayed in bed, and it was nowhere near, like I didn't go to the emergency room for it. I didn't have to take my sumatriptan for it. I was back to normal, COVID normal the next day. I wasn't vomiting, you know, it was like manageable. That's the only thing I've had happen since I started getting Botox. I've not had a headache. I've not had I've not had any more muscle spasms in the front. It's been really amazing. It is nice not having the wrinkles, and it is nice, you know, looking more bright, you know, because I do have her put a little on these sides. You can kind of see I have a little bit of a bubble here because I just had it injected. I do have her do a little bit of injection here to kind of raise my eyebrows a tiny bit, but she basically concentrates, and by she, Giovanna's been doing my injections during my laser hair removal appointments, but she does here to shut those down because literally, again, I'm constantly even in resting face. My eyebrows are doing this and they're pushing my eyelids down. She did a little bit up here because I always am raising my eyebrows to get my eyelids up so I can see because they are so heavy. Right now I do have my up in, so that helps with my eyelids to get them up. And for everyone who's like, why not just get an eyelid lift? Because they're freaking expensive. And I don't want to change the way that I look yet. Like, I'm not ready to let go of what I look like. And that's another thing is all these things that I'm having done, all these things that I go to Pico MD for, I'm very much like, I want to look like myself. I don't want to look unnatural. I don't want to look overdone. I just want to look like myself, but I want to feel normal. And the wrinkle relaxer has made me feel normal. That is something that I will continue to do. My husband fully supports me because I don't have headaches anymore. I don't have migraines anymore. I don't have to take the heavy duty or whatever drugs that they give me for my migraines anymore. I feel like I can like just be normal and have a bad day because the weather's bad and not because the weather's bad and I'm stuck in bed because my migraine got triggered. Like, it's just really nice. I'm also have more energy. I've noticed that I don't, because I'm not like furrowing my brow all the time, my forehead's not tired. I would get these moments at night, especially when watching TV or looking at my phone or after driving for a long time, because I would furrow a lot then too. I'd have these times where I just like rub my forehead up. Like I just like massage it because I just felt tired. And I realized it was because those muscles were never shutting off. I don't get a lot in my forehead. I think today she injected me with 18 units, which some people get like 20 something, 30 something. I don't get that much because I don't want to have that heavy forehead. To answer some questions, how expensive is it? I get this a lot. It depends on how many units you need. I love Pico MD because they're very transparent about their prices. Because I have to be budget conscious because this is something that I am now getting done regularly because it benefits my mental health and my physical health. I have to be conscious about how much I'm spending now because I want to be able to afford that. So they're very transparent of this is how many units we'll use. Is that okay? You know, this is how much it's going to cost. And I'm that person who's like, okay, after tax, how much is it going to cost, you know, before I even go in. So I really love that about them. There's no secrets in like price tags. I get Jeuveau done. They do have deals every once in a while. I think mine is like $12 a unit, or maybe I can't really remember, to be completely honest, but I know they range from like 10 to 15, and I think Jeuveau is somewhere in the middle. So I am really glad that I don't have to get too much or too many units in my forehead because that would get really crazy expensive. The sumatriptan that I pay for actually before my deductible kicks in is actually really expensive as well. So again, it's like, do I want to take a pill to help ease my symptoms when they come on, which still knock me out and put me in bed all day long because they make me high as hell? Like I feel ridiculous. Or do I want to spend that money towards something that prevents them from happening and I can live my day? Pain-wise, a lot of people ask pain-wise, does it hurt? Honestly, lip filler hurts way more. You just don't get used to that feeling of the needle when it's like coming in this way. I hardly feel it. I don't feel like it was really painful at all either when I first got it. The needle's tiny. It's really not bad at all. And yeah, I have a little bit of makeup disruption, but it's not too bad. So you can go back to work, or like you can do something like on your lunch break. It doesn't like put you out. Like when I got my lip filler, I felt really tired after that. So I made sure to do it on a day when I wasn't working. But in regards to like wrinkle relaxer, with the way I reacted, other than like making sure you don't lay down for the next 4 hours or physically exert yourself and like work out, you're good to go. How long does it last is another question I get. I can't really honestly answer that because again, I go very light with how much they put in because I don't want to have the heavy, stiff, non-moving forehead. I've been getting mine done every 6 weeks. But it's like the last time I got it done, it was like 12 units. So it was even less. And I'm hoping that after a while, my muscles will kind of just chill on their own. I've heard that they kind of get used to not moving as much. So then you don't need as much. So crossing fingers that starts kicking in. The droopy eyelids, that's one that I got yesterday a question about, is did my ptosis get worse or did it make it worse? Because again, the heavy, that's something that I was really concerned about. I will say that if you have the right injector, which Megan and Giovanna both have done mine so far, you shouldn't have an issue with that. And I say shouldn't because, you know, there's always a chance, right? There's always a chance with anything you do. You can get in a car accident if you go and drive in your car. Something can fall on your head if you walk outside. There's always a chance. But if you have somebody who knows what they're doing, it's less likely. And Megan and Giovanna, I trust them both fully, and they do an awesome job with me. I feel like it's actually helped, like I said, because it's turning off these muscles, and that's what was making my eyelids press down, was the furrowing of my eyebrows. So that has definitely helped. And then the little lift they give me in my eyebrows has also helped to kind of make me look a little bit more awake. I don't let them go near my eyes here because I like my crow's feet. I think that they make me age appropriate, and that's who I am. I'm a big smiler. I'm very much expression, and so I didn't want them messing with that. But I don't feel like it's made my ptosis worse. I think it's made it a lot better. I also got a question of if I've had any bad reactions to it. So somebody emailed me and said that they got Dysport and it made their migraines worse. I have heard of that happening, and technically headaches can be a side effect of potential side effects of wrinkle filler. I will say the first time I got my injections done, I did have some light headachy feeling, but it wasn't like a migraine. It was just kind of like a dull ache, and then that went away within a couple hours, and then I felt fine, like nothing happened the next day. It does take up to 10 days to fully like come into effect. They want you to like move around and do like your usual muscle movements, so that way the stuff can target those muscles faster within the first 4 hours, and then you kind of just chill out. You can ask John. I have just felt so much better. My TMJ is a lot better too. That is something that my neurologist said could be causing my headaches, is my TMJ, and also my ear doctor my ENT that I went and saw. I have horrible TMJ. You can see this side is more swollen because this is the side that gets the worst. It has helped relax my jaw because I'm not, using these muscles all the time, which is a nice side effect. And yeah, like my jaw popping is not as bad as it used to be. And that's how bad it is in general. Isn't that terrible? So I got lots of stuff going on with my face. So I guess I just wanted to make this video again, just like with that other video. This is why I got these done. There's different reasons why people do things that they do, whether it's to buy a cup that every basic bitch in the world has, whether it's to buy overly priced Lululemon leggings. I'm just listing off stuff that I do because there's reasons why I do it, not because everybody else has it. Patagonia. Like, there are reasons why people do stuff that have nothing to do with social media or other people. I got filler and Botox in spite of the fact, or despite the fact, that everybody has it. Me sharing it with everyone, I immediately was like, everyone's gonna just dump on me and say, oh my God, not you too. I actually put off these things. Like, I put off trying wrinkle relaxer because I didn't want to be judged as, oh, you're just like everybody else. And I'm so mad that I did that, because I could have had relief from these migraines and had some relief in my jaw and had relief in my forehead so much sooner had I just done what I wanted to do off of my own research because I wanted to do it. Instead, I let social media, I let my followers, I let people even in my personal life, I let their opinions make me not do something that in the end actually has been the most beneficial for my physical and mental health than anything I've tried before. And it just makes me kind of sad. You hear somebody say like, oh yeah, I tried Botox or wrinkle relaxer or Jeuveau or Dysport or lip filler or whatever. I want you to not judge them immediately. Don't automatically assume it's because they're trying to reverse time, father time. Don't automatically assume it's because they're vain. Don't automatically assume it's because they, are unhappy with the way they look. That's not always why people do stuff. I'm doing laser hair removal right now, and it's not something that I would have necessarily considered doing right now because I could never afford to do that on top of everything else I'm doing. I'm eternally grateful to PicoMD for allowing me to get the laser hair removal for free. It's just been an amazing experience. I have been so happy with my results, but little do some people know, I actually had a very traumatic experience having a benign, thankfully, tumor removed from my pubic area. It was right next to where your underwear where your underwear is, but in your groin area, right in that fold. That's where I had a huge benign tumor growing a couple years ago, and I had to have it removed. It was super painful. I had to be awake for it. I had about a 2-inch incision done, again while awake, after they shot me up with a bunch of local anesthetic. it was a lot deeper in my muscle than they thought it was originally. So looking back, the doctor was like, maybe I should put you under, but he didn't know. And he was actually just so great with me. And so was the nurses, because I was in a very vulnerable position. I was literally spread eagle. Like I was at the OBGYN's office getting checked, and all these people I'd never met were just staring at me suddenly. And I was awake, you know, talking to them about selling our house and buying a new one while they're literally cutting me open down there. And it was really, even though they were great, it was really traumatic. And one of the reasons why, like my doctor couldn't tell me why it developed, but he did say, you know, ingrown hairs down here can start developing into these weird little masses. And he, again, didn't say that that's what it was, but he said that is something that can happen. So again, I have had so many issues with things that if there's one less thing I have to worry about developing again, a benign tumor, because I'm not shaving down there or because there's no hair there to grow and rub against my underwear seam to become a problem, I'm going to take it. And so like even laser hair removal, yeah, it's really nice that I don't have to shave anymore. Hopefully won't after this. But when they approached me to get it done, to have somebody train on me, I was really excited because the idea of possibly not ever having to have an ingrown hair turn into a tumor and have to have it removed, that was like, that's a lot. Like money aside on the razors, like I'm going to save on not buying razors. The like not having to ever have to have anyone cut me open down there again possibly is just that's a lot for me. So yeah, again, another reason that you wouldn't necessarily jump to think when somebody's like, oh, I'm getting my bikini line laser haired off. So anyways, those are just reasons why I got these things done. I hope it helps maybe neutralize some people's opinions or calm some people down who have been like DMing me and saying I'm going to ruin my face. Like, I'd like to think I still look like myself. I mean, maybe I don't know, but I'd like to think I do. And hell, I mean, even if it just makes you feel better, just to look better, who cares? But this is just another reason why somebody might get these things done. So just be a little bit more sensitive to when you talk to people or approach them or ask them questions about things that they've had done cosmetically, because it's not always for the reasons you think. And it's really none of anybody's business. But because I share everything here, I know I've made it your business. So I just kind of wanted to give you a different side of why. And again, if that's not the reasoning, then that's fine too. If you have any questions about any of the things that I've had done or you know, whatever, I'm always happy to help answer those questions or help direct you to somebody who can. If you're in my area, PicoMD, like they've just been so amazing. You know, I started there as a paying client or patient. Like I paid for all my injections, Botox I paid for. Laser hair removal is the only thing that I've been gifted. And they're just awesome. They're really sweet there. Again, I don't have experience with their doctor yet, but and I say yet only because I may at some point have to get my eyelids lifted, who knows, but yeah, they're just very sweet there. They're very warm, they're very welcoming, which I really appreciate. Yeah, if you have any questions, you can also follow them on Instagram and ask them and pester them because they're great at responding back to your messages, which is also cool. And you can make your appointments through Instagram, which is awesome because sometimes like I get this anxiety about calling and talking to somebody on the phone, even though I know I shouldn't because I'm 36 years old, but you know, but they're really just all around a great place. So anyways, yeah, I had my laser hair removal done. It was my third session. I'm feeling pretty good about it. My armpits are just like a baby's butt. It's amazing. My legs are taking a little bit longer, but I think it's just because my leg hair is just really coarse. And the down under is also awesome. I did have her do my behind today. She was like, have we done your butt yet? Like, she didn't say that. I forget how she worded it, but that's all I heard in my head. And I'm like, no. I'm like, we can if we want, but yeah, so that was an interesting experience. But again, if you ever need laser hair removal and you go there, Giovanna just like makes you feel so at ease. Like they're pros. So anyways, I'm gonna let you go because I've been rambling on too long, but I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope again, this helped kind of answer some of your questions. I don't know if I'll post this on my YouTube so it's easier to find. I didn't really think about that before I started filming because I'm filming in portrait mode, but maybe I will too. But yeah, go follow PicoMD. They are great at answering your questions. And if you have any like personal questions, feel free to DM me. I'm pretty much an open book, as you guys know. But I'll talk to you guys all later.